Welcome to another session of In the Lab with Tracy Gibbs, Chief Science Officer for LifeWise. Rob and I co-founded LifeWise, and we're doing great. Love how things are going at LifeWise. Tonight, if I sound a little bit irritated, it's because I am. Tonight's topic, I keep telling everyone the gloves are off, and it's because for the last 2 weeks, I have been inundated with messages, Facebook messages, text messages, emails from a lot of you asking me, hey, can you compare XYZ product to the one? Or can you compare ABC product to Lyft or whatever? Many of you that have reached out to me, I go ahead and give you the detailed answers. I'll give you a detailed comparison. I'll tell you why they're different. But it's getting to the point to where I feel like, well, and here's the thing. This is probably human nature in entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs see opportunity in everything. It's really difficult for us to stay focused. It's difficult for us to stay on target. And so when we hear about something else coming out, we see something shiny and our minds can envision opportunity there. And yet most of the time it's a sham. Somebody made a comment to me a couple days ago and they're like, hey, what do you think of this? And I'll just be honest, it's this new peptide company that's coming out, right? What do you think of this? And I replied and I said, squirrel. It's from the movie Up.
He is a good and smart master, and he made me this collar so that I may talk. Squirrel!
And throughout the entire movie, he is seeing squirrels. He can't focus. He can't stay on task. He can't stay on target because every time something flashy or something moves in the bushes, he thinks it's a squirrel and he wants to chase it. It's the perfect analogy for entrepreneurs. I feel like everyone out there is jumping squirrel when 99.999% of the United States has not even heard of LifeWise. No, we are still the latest. We are still the greatest. And I'm going to get into that tonight. I'm going to be so boldly honest tonight that there might be people and peers in my industry who are going to text me later and say, I can't believe you disclosed that, or I can't believe you said that, because I'm ready. I'm so done with this industry and the charlatans in this industry and the constant lying. And I'm going to call it outright lying because look, you can think you're doing something and say that you're doing it, but that's a lie. If you're thinking about doing something and you haven't done it, but you tell people you're doing it, that's a lie. And I know several peers in this industry that I've watched their videos over the last 2 years, and they lie and they lie and they lie. And I'm tired of it because it fools all of you. You guys who don't know the difference in a good formula versus a bad formula, or who don't have the industry expertise, they look down on you. And they expect you to believe their lies. And guess what? You guys do believe their lies. And you jump from ship to ship and you jump from product to product, chasing that shiny object, and you get let down time and time again. And so I'm going to be exposing some things because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Let's start with some basic education, right? Because the best thing that we can do to discern truth from a lie is to have personal knowledge, to know for ourselves what's right and wrong. So I'm going to give you some key industry phrases that are the squirrels out there, right? You're going to see it and call it for what it is, a squirrel. But instead of being Doug, the dog on Up, instead of chasing it, you guys are going to say, you're a squirrel. You're just there to distract me and you're full of lies. I'm going to be super brutally honest. I'm going to give you 4 or 5 key phrases that you hear time and time again in the industry. And if you hear this phrase, you know it's a lie. I might have more if I think of any while I'm talking about this, okay? Lie number 1, we have a team of scientists. So a couple years ago, when we started LifeWise, and another company that I had worked at previously rechanged and renamed itself, the introductory video from their chief science officer said that we have a team of scientists. The company had been incorporated for like a month and they had a team of scientists. Unless your company's 20 or 30 years old, you do not have a team of scientists. You may have contracted with a team of scientists. You may have gone to a manufacturing facility who has a team of scientists, but you do not have a team of scientists. If somebody says that to you, you know it's a lie. Now, I know a couple companies that do have teams of scientists, okay? Nu Skin has a team of scientists. doTERRA has a team of scientists, not so much in-house R&D, but a whole bunch of technical writers and things like that. So it literally, startups cannot afford a team of scientists. LifeWise, here's our answer. You got me, an industry expert, a scientist, okay? We don't have a team. You got me. And I work with lots of scientists and I work with lots of manufacturing facilities, although I don't need to because I own a couple of my own manufacturing facilities, all right? So you got one scientist with 30 years of experience formulating over 1,000 products. In fact, I'm up over 1,200 right now. In fact, I did 1,243 today. This was 1,240, 1,241, so I've done 2 more formulas since these 2. I own 2 manufacturing facilities, an oral strip facility and a liquid facility. I've had ownership in a powder and capsule facility, and I still work with that facility today. When I sold my previous R&D company, my ownership in that was sold with it, but I still work with those guys like they're my partners, okay? They're great people, so any powders and capsules that we do, just consider that like an extension of one of my own facilities because that's how they treat me there. So that's who you got. I've worked with the largest companies in the industry. I've worked with Nu Skin, I've worked with doTERRA, I've worked with Young Living, I've worked with Melaleuca, I've worked with Nature Sunshine, with Synergy, I've worked with 4Life Research, I've worked with LifeVantage, David Brown and those guys. Again, I know the people out there and I've worked with them all right? So when you hear somebody say they've got a team of scientists, number 1 is bull crap. Number 2, the truth at LifeWise, you got me. Hopefully you only need one good scientist. One good formulator. And by the way, medical doctors are not it. That's another lie. I'm going to list that as lie number 2. If they say formulated by doctors, man, run like the wind. Doctors don't know squat about nutrition. They don't know anything about herbs. They don't know anything about the active phytochemicals in herbs. I would rather have it be formulated by a pharmacist than an MD. At least a pharmacist has some basic knowledge on phytochemicals. Doctors literally, when it comes to prescription drugs, they only know what they were told by the drug rep. So the drug rep is more educated than the doctor because the drug rep is who trains the doctor. So the doctor can only regurgitate maybe 30% of what the drug rep tells him. Medical doctors receive no nutrition training at all. Now, even if you're an integrative medical doctor, you only know what your CEU courses and classes tell you. You've got no hands-on experience formulating. So that's going to be lie number 2. If it says formulated by an MD or a doctor, yeah, get out of there. Look for Ph.D. scientists. Look for a pharmacist. Look for a pharmacognosist. Again, what you get at LifeWise is you get a pharmacognosist, which let's break that word down. Pharma, meaning plant origin. Cognosy, or cognizant, or the knowledge of. So the knowledge of plants. That's what my degree is in. It's a combination, for my specialty anyway, was ethnobotany, which is the origins of food and medicine among different cultures of the world, meaning the ethnic origins of botany, of plants, right? And how people have used those throughout history. And organic chemistry, which is the active phytochemicals in the plants. And I've said this time and time again, it's not the plant that cures you, it's the active properties within that plant that do the curing and healing. So an herbalist doesn't know about that phytochemical side. They only know colloquial traditional uses. They could tell you, yeah, elderberry was used by Native Americans and it's great for fevers. But they couldn't tell you why it's great for fevers and what active phytochemical is in that, all right? An herbalist may know when to pick something because traditionally that's when it was harvested. But they won't know the precise or exact time or soil conditions or anything that needs to grow in order for it to contain the highest amount of active phytochemicals so that it works faster. And they won't know anything about delivery mechanisms other than traditional poultices, salves, creams, and possibly essential oils, but most herbalists don't even get into that. A pharmacognosist, however, has to know all of that because we're the guys that make the drugs. So we know, and I know everything from extraction methods to modern day delivery mechanisms. So if you don't have that as your formulator, guys, you're screwed. Your company's screwed, because what you're going to be relying on, the manufacturer's word. And that's where lie number 3 comes in. We'll get into the manufacturing issue later. But lie number 3, when you hear this, and I heard this just a couple weeks ago from that new peptide video. We're the first and only. If somebody in this industry tells you they're the first and only, bullcrap. Again, call it for what it is, BS. Unless they're a Nobel-winning scientist, they are not the first, okay? Because usually it's the scientists that discovered the stuff, like peptides, for example. Peptides have been around for a very, very long time. I've been selling peptides for 20 some odd years. Now, we are actually the first company in the world to sell the GMI peptide, Gonoderma microspore immunomodulatory peptide. Nobody's ever had that before. It's hard to get. The science team at University of Taiwan who grows that stuff for us only sells to us because we have the worldwide exclusivity for it. And second, they're freaking out because I'm ordering 1/4 kilogram and it takes him months to produce that. Now I can get, 1 million strips off of that, but they're freaking out because they're trying to figure out how they can grow that much. So I know for a fact that we're the only ones buying that and able to get our hands on that. But other peptides, guys, BPC 157, TB 500, they've been out there a long time. And there's lots of people selling them. And if you don't believe me, just Google peptides. They pop up all over Amazon. So when you say you're the first and only, don't lie. You may think you're the first, but before you make a statement like we're the only ones, you should probably do some homework and do your research, right? When skincare companies say that all the time, we've got the one and only and blah, blah, blah. Even a former company I worked at, Viseo, they had like 6 peptides total in their Beleza line, the skincare line. So peptides have been around out there. They've been in skincare, they've been in hair care, they've been in oral health. So don't tell me you're the first and only company selling peptides. This is just a lie. When you talk about product combinations and everything like that, I can tell you factually. So here's the truth. Here's LifeWise truth, all right? You will not find a product anywhere out there, and I'm going to read these off. You will not find a product like Radiance anywhere out there. A beauty enhancing product with those ingredients on an oral strip does not exist. Period. Doesn't exist, okay? You won't find a product like Lift out there anywhere in the world. Period. Now, you might find a salty energy drink somewhere with electrolytes and whatnot. They're out there, but you're not going to find a mood-enhancing product that's got those ingredients with the hydration and the freeze-dried coconut water and the green tea, the energy components, anywhere out there. That's why we really emphasize those 3 points. It doesn't exist. You will not find a product like the one anywhere out there. There's a whole food multivitamin for sure. I've seen it. Garden of Life has a great whole food multivitamin, but that's all it is. It's a whole food multivitamin. You have to go buy the probiotic separate. You have to go buy their enzyme separate, like their Wobenzyme. Again, that's a Garden of Life product. Those 2 products alone, over, $58 for the whole food multi, $70 to $80 for the larger bottle of Wobenzyme. You're $120 just in those 2 products right there, and you don't even have the superfoods. You don't even have the omegas. That's a totally separate product, like more EPA. That's equivalent, I guess, to what our sea buckthorn oil is, and that's a $60 product right there. Now, if you went and spent $300 buying all those separately, you're going to get close to the one. But finding a product like the one in one package for $99, not going to find anywhere else. You will not find a product like Shield anywhere else. Why? Because GMI, that peptide, we're the only ones selling it globally, period. That's it. You won't find a product like Clarity. Find me a nootropic product with those ingredients on an oral strip, nowhere. Not going to be anywhere with that mouth to brain delivery. Marine One, not going to find it anywhere. Used to be one, but that company doesn't exist anymore. So we're the only ones right now. Okay? And Restore, a product that actually has clinical studies on the product, okay? Not just clinical studies on an ingredient. Doesn't exist. That's another thing you should be wary of. When people say, oh, we've got clinical studies on the finished product, I'd be like, show me. Lie number 4, we've searched the world for the best ingredients. Have they really? Sorry, but a new company that started up about the same time as LifeWise last year, when their chief science officer did the introductory video to their product line, I'm sorry, guys, but I did the formulation work on that product line, and he did not scour the world looking for those ingredients. So he lied right on the video. It's a lie. Jeez. So many companies say that, and you know what they do? They go to Supply Side West in Las Vegas. And at Supply Side West, you see vendors, mostly from the United States, but from all over the world, and everyone's trying to sell you on their radical, new, cool ingredient. That's what everybody does. Unless you can show me that you got 3 million miles on your freaking airline account, then you have not traveled the world scouring ingredients. I've got 3.5 million miles with only two airlines. About 500,000 of that's on a third airline, Korean Airlines. I got close to 1 million on Singapore Airlines. And I have scoured the world. I have not been to Antarctica, but there's no plant life there for me to care about. So maybe some lichen somewhere, but I haven't been to Antarctica. But again, I'm tired of the lies. Let me tell you what everybody does in this industry. You go to that Supply Side West show, and then you got a really cool, for example, I'm going to talk about one of our suppliers, Gencor. Gencor is a great company, and they have these cool patented and clinically proven ingredients, and we use some of those. People see a Gencor booth and they say, oh my gosh, I love your ingredient. And then they go back to their manufacturer that they contracted to make a product with. And that manufacturer 90% of the time does this. You don't want to use that Gencor ingredient because it's $2,000 a kilogram. I got something else right from China or right from India or wherever that's only $400 a kilo. And the person who's starting that new company looks at his pocketbook or his accountant or his lawyer and he says, you know what? Yeah, let's go with that cheaper ingredient because I don't want to pay $14 for a product. I want it to be in the $7 range. That is industry standard. Okay. I know I own 2 manufacturing facilities. I do that myself with other customers, especially when I give them a price that's the A grade formula price. And then they get all huffy puffy and mad at me and say, how can you charge me so much? Well, you said you wanted these patented ingredients. Well, I can't afford that. Okay, well, I have options. Let me talk to Mr. Xuan Jian in China who can whip up something for you that's chemically similar and it'll only cost you $80 a kilo, not $8,000 a kilo. I do that with customers who whine and complain about their formulas. And that's industry standard. I'll tell you, I'll never forget, and I'm just going to be honest, I'm going to talk great about doTERRA. I presented some A-grade formulas to doTERRA, man, clear back in, I can't remember even, 2009, 10, somewhere when they were just 2-year-old company at the time. And those products that I did are still their legacy products today. And I remember sitting in a boardroom because when I presented these formulas, everybody kind of was quiet in this boardroom. And they said, holy cow, these are way more expensive than we thought. And it was Emily Wright. She said this, she said, we owe it to our distributors to come out with the best products. Man, I jerked a tear when I heard Emily say that. What an awesome woman she is. And she stood up for the distributors and they made those products and those are their legacy products today and they're still selling. The truth of LifeWise, guys, holy cow, if you guys knew our COGS versus the industry average, you would freak out. You would be shouting praises to LifeWise products because they are freaking expensive. Rob has a heart attack every time I tell him the price of something. And yet he made that commitment to fork out that money and do it. Guys, we've made that commitment to you to fork out that money instead of negotiating and swapping out trademarked and patented ingredients. We don't do that. I work with these suppliers that have the branded ingredients. I have to do trademark licensing ingredients all the time because we use their trademarks on our packages. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But either way, we didn't compromise on the ingredients, okay? So the truth about LifeWise, I know my sources personally. I have logged over 3 million miles traveling the world looking for awesome ingredients. I've done gold key meetings with suppliers at U.S. embassies in 14, 15 different countries where they line you up with the actual growers. It's the U.S. Commercial Service Division. I've been on trade missions for the state of Utah to Hong Kong, India, Singapore, France. I can't remember. Germany. I've been on a trade mission to Germany. Poland. I can't even remember how many trade missions I've been on. A lot. And yes, I do go to supply side every year, but mostly for a couple things. Number one, I go for my manufacturing facilities because obviously I promote that as a manufacturing facility. But number two, when I walk the floor, I'm trying to see what's trending because I'll know what's coming out and what's going to be popular for the next year because everybody jumps on that same bandwagon. This company that's selling peptides, you know what? I've been making peptide strips for almost doing R&D on them for over a year at our strip company. I've got half a dozen clients asking me for peptide strips right now. And guess what? One of them's not this new MLM company, so they're going to give you something in a capsule or something in a powder, some old school delivery technology. Why? Because they went to an old school delivery technology manufacturing facility, all right? Enough said about that. Lie number 5. If you ever hear this, run. Our formulas are formulated specifically for your needs. You mean to tell me some 20-year-old lab tech in a lab knew what my needs were when they were being told by their manufacturing supplier that that's going to be a popular product, so formulate that product? Of course that's bullcrap, and of course that's a lie. Unless you go to a compound pharmacy and have a single unit made just for you, the product was not formulated to meet your needs, okay? It may have been formulated to meet a lot of people's needs. For example, when I go to make a diabetic product, I'm going to be looking at, what are diabetics at? 18% of the over age 50 population. It's a huge chunk of people. And I'm going to be looking at their needs, but I can't do that for you individually unless you come to me and consult with me and I create a product just for you, which, by the way, would cost you tens of thousands of dollars. Just my consulting fee alone. My R&D fees, $350 per lab hour, okay? And then to source those raw ingredients. So again, if somebody says that they've got the best formulas or they've got a formula specifically tailored to your needs, it's a lie, and you need to run from that company. There are companies out there that say, hey, we'll swab you or we'll blood test you, you mail in those samples and we'll formulate something just for you. That's the biggest lie out there, because I've been to those companies. There's 3 of them out there, big ones, that are saying that right now. And you guys know what they have? They have 150 stock formulas, all in things that look like candy machine dispensers. They look at your results and they say, you need formula number 4, formula number 57, and formula number 87. But guess what? They had already formulated number 4, 54, and 87. And all they do is drop those little pills into a little baggie for you and say it's for you. That wasn't formulated specifically for you. It was packaged specifically for you, but not formulated specifically for you. So the truth that I'm going to share with LifeWise regarding that is our formulas are unique to any other formulas out there. And what I have in mind when I formulate those are the specific needs of that group or that classification. For example, Radiance is specifically targeted for the aging generation and aging population. The 1 is nutrition, and every human being needs nutrition, okay? And that's why I guess you could say the 1 covers so broad, because if you can eat, if you're a toddler and you can eat solid food, you can take the 1. If you're a senior citizen, 99 years old, and can swallow pills, you can take the 1, all right? When I look at clarity, I look at for people who have or need cognitive enhancers. When I look at dream, I look at that 67% of the population who has sleep disorders. And then I look at the varying type of sleep disorders: oxygen deprivation, blue light radiation, melatonin deficiency, deviated septum, things like that. I look at all the causes for sleep disorder, and I try to address as many of those as I can in the formula. So it literally will work for people who are suffering from those type of sleep disorders. All of our products are manufactured either at one of my facilities or at a facility that I used to co-own. They're NSF certified facilities, and they're right here in Utah, so I can oversee it. Do we have hiccups? You bet we had hiccups. Holy cow. Some of the ingredients I have are super rare, and I had trouble importing the last batch. I had trouble getting it approved. That's why the 1 was sold out. So of course, we have hiccups that are out of my control, out of my facility's control, only in the hands of God sometimes. But at least I'm here on the ground and can oversee it. You won't find that at hardly any other company unless they own their own manufacturing facility. Guys, everybody else is contract manufacturing, and you pretty much do what your contract manufacturer tells you to do because you're at their mercy. So if I have ABC Network Marketing Company and I go contract my products at XYZ contract manufacturer, and he tells me that the formula I want won't fit into a capsule, you know what I have to say? Okay, well, cut that ingredient out, and try to make it fit in that capsule. Okay, we can do that. What do you suggest I cut out? Oh, I don't know. I'm not a formulator. Let me talk to my medical doctor. Well, I don't know either. Just have them do it. They're the experts. Okay, well then your manufacturing facility is choosing your products for you. And guess what? They choose the ones that have the highest profit margin for themselves. That's just the industry. So I'm going to draw the line in the sand today. And I've done this before. If you're an owner of another company out there and you think you've got a better formula after taking a look at ours, hey, let's do a Facebook Live debate. Let's call it out. I'll do a debate. We'll split the screen here. We'll go over each and every ingredient, and there's 4 categories that we can talk about. Number 1, better absorption or better delivery modality. Number 2, combination of ingredients. Number 3, are your clinical studies better than mine? And number 4, is your sourcing better than mine? If you can beat me in any one of those areas, you know what? I'll even add a 5th. Pricing for a network marketing company. If you can make the product that I make and sell it at the price I give it to, you know what? I'll even do this. I'll throw in $1,000 cash. Debate me. If you win, I will declare you the winner for that product, and I'll give you $1,000 cash. I know it's not a lot for some people out there that may have millions of dollars in their companies, but whatever. It's a lot to me. So let's do that. So one request I have before I close. I don't mind you guys sending me, hey, can you compare your product to this or compare your product to that? But before you do that, don't do it on a whim. Do your own homework first. Go listen to my live on that product, or listen to the YouTube channel on Restore, or listen to our YouTube channel on The One and why The One is different from other multivitamins out there. Listen to Radiance and why Radiance is different than other beauty products out there. Listen to Shield and see why it's different from other immune products out there. And then if literally you can't seem to find any difference, you're looking at ingredients, they look the same, and all this stuff, and the delivery mechanism's the same, heck yeah, then send it to me, because look, if you've done your homework and it looks comparable to you, I want to have a close look at it too, because I have told you guys that if I find a product that's better than what we got out there, I go back to the lab and you will see a new version of our product come out that beats the old one. Okay? That's a promise. I did that in my promise video. So before you send me those comparisons, please do your own homework, do your own comparison. And then if you just can't see the difference or think that whatever you found is better, then you send it over to me, all right? Thank you for watching tonight. I hope you guys have enjoyed this presentation and understand a little bit about where I'm coming from. This is Tracy Gibbs again, Chief Science Officer for LifeWise. Thank you for joining me tonight. I'll see you next week on another In the Lab every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Have a good evening.